Hi, Stores Channel here.
Today, I'm going to explain a Chinese action thriller film called Kung Fu Jungle. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the opening scene, a martial arts expert named Mo walks into the police station. His face is covered in bruises and cuts that surprise the officers. When asked what happened, he answers that he just killed somebody. The officers quickly call the higher officials and arrest him. It turns out that Mo was fighting an opponent in the ring and involuntarily killed him during the match. Mo knew that what he did was wrong, even though it was accidental. Hence, he turned himself in. The scene cuts to 3 years later. A police detective named Luck has been called to investigate a murder crime scene. She is informed that the person who died was a boxer. At first glance, a forensic doctor notices broken ribs and limbs, and blood clots around the eyes. Detective Luck assumes that the victim must have been tortured for several days to be that severely injured. But by the nature of the injuries, the doctor claims the victim probably got into a fight with someone very skilled. They also notice a strange dagger lying on the crime scene. Somewhere else, in the penitentiary, Mo has been living peacefully for the past 3 years. He is often ordered around by a group of inmates. With his skills, Mo can easily teach them a lesson, but he chooses to avoid any kind of argument. The news of the death makes it to the television and catches Mo's attention. He watches the broadcast in shock, almost as if he knows something about the murder. Immediately after, he runs to the guard and asks him to call Detective Luck. The guard sarcastically questions him about what else he would like to have. Mo tries explaining that he knows something about the recent murder case, but he is dismissed. Following that, he picks a fight with a group of inmates. The leader of the group manages to hit him on the head with a metal plate, but Mo dodges the second attack and breaks both of his arms. By now, they are surrounded by policemen who take them under custody. The prison warden knows that Mo is not normally a violent person, hence he calls Detective Luck and arranges a meeting between them. Mo finally meets her and claims that the person who died was his former friend who he once fought and defeated. By the nature of the murder, Mo is sure that the killer is about to go on a killing spree. He isn't looking for revenge or money. He wants to fight with the best kung fu fighters, fair and square. When asked how he is so sure, Mo fails to provide a definite answer, but claims that if they set him free, he can help them find the killer. The detectives assume he is making things up to get out of prison. As they are about to leave, Mo recites 7 names and declares that one of them is going to be the next victim. The names are of the fighters who he has fought and defeated over the years. Detective Luck doesn't believe him, but she still asks her junior to collect information on all 7 people. Then, we see the murderer sharpening a dagger and writing the name King Yi on the wall. King Yi is one of the people that Mo mentioned earlier. He works in an art museum and is currently working on a sculpture of a giant human skeleton. When he is alone in the showroom, the killer suddenly appears on top of the skull and shows his face for the first time. He introduces himself as Yu Sao and challenges King Yi to a battle. They fight each other on top of the skeleton. When King Yi notices that Yu Sao's legs are different lengths, he is wearing a shoe with a bigger sole to balance himself. They fight using only their legs, but still show great expertise. Eventually, Yu Sao traps his opponent's leg between his and breaks it. Seconds later, he walks away, leaving King Yi's dead body behind. Back in the police station, the detective studies the profiles of the 7 names provided by Mo, but finds no similarity in them. All of them live simple lives in different parts of the city. However, Mo's past seems interesting to her. It is revealed that he formed a famous martial arts club and was a teacher before his imprisonment. The club has thousands of followers in present day. He was also recruited by the Hong Kong police as a martial arts instructor. As the detectives talk, they get the news about King Yi's death. Detective Luck is shocked that Mo's prediction turned out to be true. The very next day, Mo is let out of the prison temporarily, under police custody. By inspecting the order of killings, Mo has realized that the killer is targeting his victims by following a martial arts practice. First, he killed the boxer who used his hands, then King Yi, who used his legs to fight. So, his next target will probably be Hitmon Top. Someone who wrestles. Mo knows a wrestler among the remaining 6 people, but Yu Sao gets to the man before the police. When the police arrive at the location, they see the wrestler's body being thrown from a window. He also has a similar dagger stabbed into his arm. Suddenly, Mo looks at the roof of another building and sees Yu Sao. His evil smile makes him realize that he is the murderer. Mo immediately follows the man while the police do the same. A few minutes into the chase, Yu Sao takes a leap to the top of a neighboring building and disappears, leaving Mo and the police ashamed that they couldn't catch him. Taking the opportunity, Mo also escapes from police custody. The next day, he goes to his hometown Foshan, where he meets his wife, Xin Ying. They are happy to be reunited after 3 years. It is amazing that the police haven't assumed this is where he would go. She takes him home and makes him wear a sacred band on his wrist. It is supposed to make him fight only for self-defense and protect him from making the same mistake that got him imprisoned. At night, Mo finds the killer's dagger in one of the boxes with his belongings. Xin Ying reveals that a few months ago, a limping man came to their martial arts school and asked her to keep the dagger. She thinks that the town's historian might know what the symbol in the dagger means, and the two decide to go to him the next day. Then, a flashback shows us Yu Sao with his late wife, who had cancer. She was the only person in the world who loved and accepted him as he was. While she was dying, he practiced martial arts day and night to keep himself from thinking about her inevitable death. Back in the present, Mo and Xin Ying go to the historian to find out more about the dagger. It is revealed that the symbol on it is called Eve's Swallow. During the rule of the Qing dynasty, it was given to the person who lost in a martial arts fight. The couple is talking about Yu Sao when a man nearby overhears them and claims to know him. He says that a few years ago, Yu Sao lived with his cancerous wife in a nearby town. Yu Sao was born with a disability that makes one of his legs shorter than the other. Yet, he was able to master martial arts techniques with hard work and dedication. Following that, Mo calls Detective Luck, saying that he has a lead. The police immediately come to the town to receive him and make their way to the killer's hometown. They arrive at Yu Sao's home, but see that he has already moved away. The landlady claims that she never saw Yu Sao do anything other than train. He also used to rub his face with salt until it bled, to thicken his skin so it could take a longer beating. Then, the police find writing on the wall that says that he has lost everything in his life, and now his only motive is to fight the best martial artists and become number one. That is why he has been killing some of the best fighters and plans to kill more. That was honestly a pretty shallow twist. Meanwhile, Yu Sao goes to his next target, a former fighter and actor. This time, he challenges him to a duel using swords. After a long and fierce match, Yu Sao slits the man's throat and kills him. After yet another death, Detective Luck is pressured by the higher officials to solve the case sooner. She urges Mo to do the same, but he seems to be hiding something from them. Once, when Mo was in prison, he got a letter from Yu Sao that vaguely talked about a challenge. Back then, Mo didn't know what it meant, but now he has realized that he is the final person Yu Sao wants to fight. Detective Luck also starts to suspect Mo and asks the prison for the CCTV footage of every meeting he has had with an outsider. At night, Mo is sitting alone in the room when he remembers the day before the first murder took place. Yu Sao had sent him a letter asking him to watch the news. The following day, the police find out about Yu Sao's current address and send a SWAT team to his house. They search around it but find no one inside. Just as they are about to leave, they see that his wife's ashes are still there, which means he will definitely return to retrieve them. Detective Luck orders a redeployment and makes the police stay hidden until Yu Sao returns to the house. The next morning, he is seen approaching the house on a boat. A flashback shows that his wife was struggling severely before her death. Yu Sao couldn't see her in such a condition anymore, so he mercy killed her by strangling her to death. That twist was a little more intense. In the present, the police see him and cautiously wait for him to come closer so they can attack all at once. However, Yu Sao notices guard dogs around the neighborhood and takes a random turn. Before anyone knows where he went, he is gone. Somewhere else, an officer investigating the CCTV footage from the prison finds out that Yu Sao had come to meet Mo while he was in prison. Detective Luck points her gun at him, believing that the killings were his and Yu Sao's plan to get him out of prison. Meanwhile, Xin Ying has set off to look for Yu Sao on her own. Mo swiftly gets hold of the gun from Detective Luck and escapes to pursue Yu Sao and his wife. At the same time, Xin Ying and Yu Sao meet inside of his house. She hands him his wife's ashes, asking him to leave her husband alone. However, Yu Sao believes that if he kills her, Mo will become even stronger. They get into a fight, and Xin Ying, who is also a trained fighter, gives him a tough competition, but eventually, he stabs her in the arm and runs away. Mo arrives to see his wife on the floor and calls for help. He notices Yu Sao just outside the house and jumps to catch him. They land on a boat, and the container with the ashes breaks. While struggling, they fall into the river. Yu Sao manages to get on top of another boat and drives away. He eventually crashes to the boat with Detective Luck and the police officers, but disappears soon after. Mo also runs away after making sure his wife will be saved. He calls Detective Luck and tells her that when he first got Yu Sao's letter, he thought he was only a fan. An only fan. Seeing his interest in martial arts, Mo taught him everything he wanted to know while he was still in prison. He was unaware that Yu Sao would use the knowledge to kill people. Mo also knew that Yu Sao was going after Xin Ying, and if he had told the police everything from the beginning, they wouldn't need his help. Hence, he kept the secret so he could come outside the prison and save his wife himself. Mo knows who Yu Sao's next target is. Using the information, he manages to find Yu Sao in the middle of a highway on his way to his target's house. Although Mo has a chance to run him over, he doesn't do it because he wants to fight him. Yu Sao is delighted that his wish is finally coming true. The two join hands to respect each other as opponents and begin the battle in the middle of the road. Almost matching in strength and skill, they are not able to do any harm to each other for the first few minutes. But then, when Yu Sao gets tired, Mo slams him to the street, where Yu Sao is almost hit by a vehicle. Following that, they get a hold of bamboo sticks and fight using those. Eventually, the bamboos also break, so they fist fight again. Suddenly, Mo ends up under a car that drags him a little further. It is enough to knock him unconscious. Taking his opportunity, Yu Sao drags him to the other side of the road. He is about to kill Mo, but Detective Luck arrives at the right time and shoots him dead. In the end, Mo is taken to the hospital. 3 months after the incident, he is in prison again. Detective Luck comes for a visit and informs him that he is being bailed out shortly. In the last scene, we see Mo and Xin Yang taking pictures with the students from their school of martial arts. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.